Hello, everyone. Welcome back for some more. Let's read
あれれ
Higurashi. We're in the middle of our gaslight gatekeep girl got you know that era, and so we've discarded our identity as Shion and become Mion, who was actually Mion because at one time they just got them mixed up and then they accepted each other's personalities, which there's a lot to that that's very interesting, right? Again, a little bit of the DNA of Tsukihime in there a bit, if you know, right? Very different in how it's being done, but still a little bit in there. Um, anyways, yeah. So we're currently trying to kill, um, well, everyone, right? We're trying to get revenge on Hinamizawa. So that's great.
みーちゃんもなんだか寝不足な感じだよ。だよ。
寝たの3時くらいだからね。眠い。
3時？おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。大方、漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって、一巻から読破してしまったんだろ
う。Yeah, that happens. But you know what? That was a big thing when I first got my like iPod Touch, before an iPhone. But then like the first time you got something that connects to the internet and I discovered, oh my god, I can just read and watch YouTube. Like there was times where I was just staying up all night watching The Great Clement.
俺にも経験があるぞ。
あれひょっとして村長さんのこと？
Oh, right. And then we did the mayor's search, but we know that the mayor's search was literally pointless.
まだ見つかってないの？
I went to the Furude Shrine to join the youth group in their search for the mayor. Since I knew there was no way he would be found, it was really boring for me. Well, just enduring sleepiness wasn't that bad. Not if you consider what Kimiyoshi had to go through since last night. He had been hanging from the ceiling and couldn't even fall asleep or sit down, since he had to stay on his tiptoes the whole time. Okay, so he's dead. He's just dead, right? Because he's an old man. There's no chance. The teacher explained to us that the mayor had gone missing and asked us if we knew anything. A couple of people said some things, but they were irrelevant. To me, this issue meant nothing. It was all my classmates were talking about. I observed Keiichi Maibara. I had no idea if any type of danger was drawing closer to him. Maybe I'd call him again tonight pretending to be Shion. I told him some outrageous stuff last night, so he panicked. But I was sure he'd calm down after a day. At that time, I heard a little girl's laughter. It was Rika Furude, the last survivor of the Furude family, and their current head. However, she wasn't really treated as one. During the family councils, she'd often draw pictures or take a nap in the old hag's bed. Just the thought of her just crawling into a little bed while everyone else is having their meeting is kind of adorable. She wasn't even invited to last night's meeting. It was hard to believe such a little girl was responsible for part of the curse system. However, even though she wasn't in a respected position as the head of the Furude family, there were plenty of old people who worshipped her as the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. I'd heard from someone that Rika Furude was rather odd, and seemed to behave as if she knew she was that reincarnation. Maybe Takano-san had told me that at the library when she was alive. When Rika Furude became worried about something, the elderly people who worshipped her would make arrangements. It was very similar to the Sonozaki family. It was also the same system as used for the curse. I wonder, does Rika Furude know anything about the deaths of Takano-san and Tomitake-san? What does she even think of people sneaking into the ritual warehouse or storehouse? Does she know who snuck in and what happened to those people? As the one managing the storehouse, it's possible that she noticed the intruders first. In fact, she was the only one who could have noticed it. She must have passed on that information, which was why the curse was executed. That foolish Keiichi turned the light on when we went into the ritual storehouse. That light switch could have been connected to some kind of alarm. Rika Furude, the head of the Furude family. Maybe getting to know her would be a good idea.
フルデ家当主として今回の件はどこまで知ってるの？
I asked her rather directly. It was hard to tell if she understood uh, if she understood I was asking her in place of the Sonozaki family head instead of as Mion Sonozaki.
富武たちのことですか？
Rika answered. The news hadn't been made public yet, or has been made public, yet she knew about it. Though she looked immature, perhaps she truly was the head of the Furude family.
お社様のたたりなのですよ。
そんなのは分かってるよ。ならまだ終わってないよね。あと2人残っている。その2人はどうなるか聞いてる？
I tried to be vague to see how Rika Furude would react. I've been thinking that she had nothing to do with the underside of Hinamizawa, since she was always treated like a child. However, Rika had just said things about the incident which normal people shouldn't know anything about. That proves she belonged to the underside's network.
別にどうでもいいと思いますですよ。
She answered the question about Tomataki-san and Takano-san fairly quickly, but it took a little longer to answer this time. Did she have to think about it? Shit. The look on her face never changes. It's impossible to figure out what she's thinking.
どうでもいいってことはないでしょ。それじゃあけじめにならないのは分かってる？
僕はちゃんと反省したならそれでいいと思いますです。
Her response was unexpected, especially after seeing the old people get so furious last night. To trespass in the ritual storehouse was blasphemy against Oyashiro-sama. The village elders had said those intruders deserved to die. Yet, the leader of the Furude family, who protected the sacred storehouse for ritual implements, said that if they felt remorse for it, then that was fine. I recalled how people thought of Rika Furude's father during the dam conflict. Yes, her father was called an opportunist back then. He didn't agree with the Onigafuchi guardians who resisted violently during the conflict. Like father, like daughter. Duh. I aggressively grabbed Rika Furude by the collar.
はあ？何をひよったことを言ってんだか。フルデ家は先代もあんたもつくづく甘ったるいね。
Okay, so you're literally insulting the orphan child's dead father.
あんたたちフルデ家が西宮殿がいかに神聖で不可侵な聖域か一番理解してなくちゃならないんだよ。そのフルデ家の仮にも当主が何を甘ったるいことを言ってるわけ。
Oh boy. I laughed at myself. I was told the same thing by someone else and was now saying it to Rika.
西宮殿を犯した罪がどれほどの大罪か理解してないわけじゃないんでしょ。
西宮殿はお社様の大切な場所なのです。勝手に入ったりとかしちゃダメなとこなのです。
わかってるじゃない。そこに汚れを持ち込んだんだよ、あの4人は。
I'm waiting for her response to the 4 people thing.
悪い猫さんなのです。
Okay, no, she knows.
にゃー。
そうだね、悪い猫だ。2匹は捕まえてお仕置きした。あと2匹いる。
にゃー。
どうけじめをつけるべきだろうね。フルデ家当主のご意見を聞かせてよ。
Rika really didn't usually wear any expression whatsoever, making it impossible to tell what she was thinking. But while I grabbed her by the collar and stared at her, I could tell somehow. Rika was a little disturbed. I sensed she was trying to see what I was thinking in turn.
僕は2匹の猫さんは許してあげたいです。
それでけじめになると思ってんの？
けじめって言葉が僕にはよくわからないです。
ああ、いい質問だね。じゃあお勉強しよう。けじめってのはね、罪をあがなうってことなの。罪は残せない。お社様のお怒りを放置することになるんだからね。だから罪の大きさに比例したけじめで罪を清めなければならないの。わかるよね？
お社様は別に西宮殿を見られても怒らないのですよ。
That feels pretty important if she's saying that. So I don't think it's necessarily the entering the storehouse that's the issue.
はあ？あんた何言ってんの？
あの中を見ちゃダメなのは、あの中に怖い道具がいっぱいあるからなのです。見るときっと怖がる人もいると思いますのです。だから誰にも見せないようにしてあるのですよ。見た人もきっと怖かったと思います。だから反省してると思いますのです。
反省してるから許されるって。あんたが決めることじゃないでしょ。それはお社様が決めること。
僕はお社様の巫女ですよ。
Mm-hmm.
そんなことは知ってるよ。じゃあ何さ、あんたはお社様に怒ってませんよって直接声を聞いて確認したとでも言うわけ。
Rika nodded yes without hesitation. I can't believe the lie she's coming up with. I'm not surprised. I'm shocked.
あんたら古出家がそんなざまだから、あんたの両親は一昨年のたたりで死んじゃったんだよ。
So she's gonna immediately see through us and she's gonna say, like, you're not Mion.
お社様に仕える資格がないとお怒りを受けてね。それであんたの父親をたたり殺したんだよ。
This is going a little far.
お社様はそんなことしないのです。お父様はお社様のたたりで死んだんじゃないのです。
That's a noise.
こんなのが最後の古出家の巫女だとはね。お社様が心を安らかにできないのがよくわかるよ。お社様をお祭りする古出家の人間でありながら嘆かわしい。
ミーが何を怒っているのか僕にはよくわからないのですよ。
This must look like she's having just an insano breakdown. I realized she was in a position to know as much as the other two family heads. As proof, she talked about this year's incident as though it was nothing. Yet she could feign ignorance with a serious face. She sure is something. She's even better than me. I slapped her a few times and pushed her to the floor. Rika, having tumbled downward rather, looked up at me with tears in her eyes.
そもそもあんたが西宮殿の鍵が重いから簡単なものに付け替えたいって言い出したのが事の発端なんだよね。
そうですよ。硬くて僕では大変だったので君吉に相談して簡単な鍵に付け替えてもらったのです。
Right, doesn't Keiichi then come here and she was like shaken up and crying? I think I remember that connection there.
あんたがその程度の手間を惜しまず頑丈な世情をそのまま残していたなら西宮殿への侵入を許さなかったかもしれない。
And then doesn't she say like, I'll fix this, and then we never see her again?
今回の一件はあんたにも責任の一端があるんだからね。それを忘れない方がいいよ。もちろんあんたと一緒に鍵を付け替えた君吉家当主にも責任があるんだけどね。
That last part was something I added on a whim. I added it to connect Rika's story to the disappearance of Kimiyoshi. I wanted to pressure her psychologically by doing so.
君吉家当主はけじめをつけてもらうことになった。だから消えた。古出家当主にもけじめをつけてもらうことに
Okay,
なる。
so now you're just opening threat. You're very clearly threatening the child. Rika was still on the floor, tears pouring down her
あと
cheeks.
残ってるのは前原圭一だけ。こいつは古出家の方で頼むことにする。
僕は何もわかんないのですよ。
別にあんたは分かんなくてもいいでしょ。憂慮したり困った顔をするだけでいいんだから。それはうちも同じ。とにかく頼んどくよ。
そんなの。
Rika hung her head. She seemed like she wanted to say something, but she was afraid I might be rough with her again. I doubted Rika Furude was actually at the top of the curse system like the hag was. However, as one of the three family heads, she was a lot closer to the underside of Hinamizawa than I was. By now, that underside was well aware of Keiichi Maibara. I told the elderly leaders of the village yesterday in meeting that Keiichi Maibara was the last one remaining. I just told the head of the Furude family the same thing. If threateningly. If my threat was effective, the curse of Oyashiro-sama should very soon fall upon Keiichi Maibara, and at just the right time, I would grab my enemy right as he took my bait. If the assassin came from the Furude family, this girl would have committed the same sin as the hag. When that time came, I wouldn't hold back. I was going to make sure she suffered and then killed her. I've heard of a torture technique where you pound a dozen nails into a victim's fingers. Yeah, we heard about that one. I already found a restraining table and the tools for it. When the time comes, I'll pound nails into your fingers. That gruesome anticipation radiated from my eyes and scared Rika even further. Oh, the bell with the transitions was great. Okay, he's dead. No, he's dead. There's no way. He's an old man. He won't last a day. I wonder how Kimiyoshi's doing. He's dead. He's dead. There's no way. I doubt he died from tiptoeing all night, but sometimes a human can go very easily. He already told me everything I wanted to hear, and he doesn't know anything else anyway. On top of that, he was responsible for spreading the infection that was the curse system of Oyashiro-sama. His sins are very heavy. I really liked Uncle Kimiyoshi. He had always been kind. The hag was so tough on her relatives, and that's why he was extra nice to me. When we talked yesterday, I was so happy to hear him say he would forgive Shion. He even said he would fight the hag to save her. That made me very happy. Don't worry. If Shion-chan feels bad about what she has done, she won't be demoned away. Leave it to me. I felt such warmth inside of me. I almost shivered. I was so happy, yet so very sad. For he continued to say that Satoshi-kun deserved to die. He said those nice things because he wanted to make Mion happy since he was worried about Shion. Satoshi-kun deserved to die because he was a member of the cursed Hojo family, but Shion-chan of the Sonozaki family did not. That's what he meant. In other words, to the leaders of the village, including Kimiyoshi, members of the Hojo family are more contemptible than insects. They didn't care if they lived or died. Their sin was not only that they despised the Hojo family so, but also that they let their hatred infect the rest of the village. Therefore, everyone in the village deserves to be a victim of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Kimiyoshi and the others created an environment that excused murder in that name. If that was so, if Takano-san and Tomitake-san hadn't committed the serious crime of trespassing in the ritual storehouse. Oh. Son of a gun? Well, we actually get to see him. Okay. Oh. Then Satoko Hojo, the last survivor of the Hojo family, and Teppei Hojo, who've been hiding in Okonomiya, might have been the victims. Oh my god, we actually get to see him. Why wasn't he in the last chapter? I feel like or the last 2 chapters ago. I feel like you could have shown him in the one where he was actually a character. Wow, okay, he's way less greasy and old than I expected. I'm gonna be real. Like, he looks like a scumbag, but he looks way less of a like. I expected full fat bastard tag, you know. Satoko Hojo. She was always around Satoshi-kun. She expected Satoshi-kun to help her every time she cried. She was one of the people who cornered him. If Satoko wasn't that much of a burden, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have killed his aunt. Oh, God! Somebody told Satoshi-kun to commit that murder. And to hide the evidence of his connection to the mastermind, Satoshi-kun was demoned away. That's what Oishi thought. If Satoshi-kun hadn't killed his aunt, maybe he wouldn't have been chosen as last year's victim. Because the commands were vague after all, the curse of Oyashiro-sama fell upon the Hojo family as a whole. It didn't matter which member of the family died. His aunt had a terrible reputation in the neighborhood. She didn't communicate with her neighbors. She was always throwing fits, and there was nothing nice about her in any way. Even if Satoshi-kun didn't kill her, the curse would have fallen upon her sooner or later. Their aunt was the first victim. There needed to be another Hojo to calm the curse. According to a rumor, their uncle was living somewhere in Okonomiya with his lover. However, Okonomiya was a little different from Hinamizawa. The Sonozaki family was powerful there as well, of course, but it would be much more difficult in Okonomiya to demon someone away. So naturally, Satoshi-kun and Satoko, who were still in Hinamizawa, became the targets. Which one should be cursed? Well, that was simple. Satoko, of course. She was snobby and lacking in manners. Everyone in the neighborhood liked Satoshi-kun, even if he was the son of the Hojo couple who betrayed the village during the dam conflict. Compared to Satoko, he didn't deserve to die. Therefore, the actual victims of last year's curse should have been his aunt and Satoko. Satoshi-kun was suddenly all alone. His mean aunt and mean uncle were gone. His sister, who had been a burden to him all his life, was gone too. Satoshi-kun was such a nice person. He would be sad although he'd realize he was finally free. But time would heal him. I'd even help. He didn't have to live in his house in Hinamizawa. There were plenty of empty rooms in the apartment block where I lived. I could find him a part-time job too. He didn't need to go to school in Hinamizawa. He could go to school with me in Okonomiya instead. He wouldn't know his way around or anything about the school there, so I'd be with Satoshi-kun all the time. I'd show him a shortcut to school, we'd go shopping, and I'd teach him many different things. What an unbelievably happy ending. Satoshi-kun had been suffering so much, and I had been pushed away all my life, but would finally be happy. I enjoyed these sweet delusions, but I didn't have any more time to waste. I was sure there were plenty of old people who'd been trying to get a hold of Oryu all morning and were trying to catch me after I got home from school. Actually, the phone had been ringing constantly while I enjoyed my happy thoughts. When I answered the phone, I casually listened and replied, "As I planned, Keiichi Maibara is now known as the next curse victim within the underside of Hinamizawa." I also tried to let them know that the disappearance of the village chief had something to do with the fact that he changed the lock on the ritual storehouse's door. All the authorities in the underside came to realize the seriousness of trespassing in the storehouse. After all, one of the heads of the three families got punished. One of the phone calls was from Oishi. He had also heard about Kimiyoshi's disappearance, and he knew it had something to do with the changing of the lock. I'm impressed. He has some pretty good sources, but all he can do is catch whatever information he can get. There's no way for him to find out where it's coming from. I'd call Keiichi Maibara again later tonight. Some of the more aggressive villagers may have already started to take action around him. I'm sure that by now, Keiichi is feeling the danger that's coming toward him. I'd have to be careful that he doesn't get killed easily. If I can catch the enemy before they bit Keiichi, sure, I can use him again as bait. Keiichi Maibara. I haven't known him for that long. He's funny if not intelligent. He'll never replace Satoshi-kun, but I do think he's fun to be around. There's just one thing I don't like about him. He rubs my head far too often. His hand is as warm as Satoshi-kun's hand, which is why I can't stand it. But that's about it. Keiichi Maibara isn't Satoshi-kun's enemy. I don't hate him. He's fun to be around, but I wouldn't shed a tear for him if he became a victim of the curse. I won't prevent Keiichi Maibara from being killed, but I won't kill him myself either. Well, damn, something's gonna have to change then in this story. I'd made arrangements for the curse to fall upon him, but I never told anyone to kill him. Well, I suppose I did tell Rika Furude to take care of Keiichi Maibara. Wait a minute. To avenge Satoshi-kun, I'm doing exactly the same thing as the hag did. I'm using the exact system that killed Satoshi-kun. Keiichi Maibara. I'm just using him. I told people let the curse fall upon Keiichi, but I've been giving him appropriate warnings. I'm gonna help him if he tries to live. If I catch all of my enemies. maybe I'll let him loose. He's different from Satoshi-kun. Well, Satoshi-kun was tricked into killing his aunt and was killed himself afterwards, so there wouldn't be any evidence remaining. I won't kill Keiichi Maibara. That's how I'm different from the hag. Take a sip of my iced tea. Evening was turning to night. I had to get dinner ready. I had to eat so I'd have enough strength to take revenge. Oh. Oh, we know this place. This place was far from the town. It would even get isolated during the winter because of the snow. Not unusual for a household like this to have 2 or 3 refrigerators. There are plenty of groceries left in them. I was glad I didn't have to go grocery shopping. I could hear the chorus of the Higurashi. People often say the sound of the Higurashi brings back memories. But for me, it's the exact opposite. I've only ever heard the sound of the Higurashi in Hinamizawa. Therefore, the sound of the Higurashi to me is Hinamizawa. The sound reminded me that I wasn't supposed to be here. That I couldn't be here. Well, that was when I heard the doorbell. Because there was a good distance between the house and the gate, there was both a doorbell and an intercom by the latter. It had a security camera, too. Something as modern as a security camera monitor in this old-fashioned kitchen looked rather strange. I turned the switch, but nothing appeared on the monitor. Tried to check the plug, but there were a bunch of cords going behind the refrigerator, so I couldn't even do that. The doorbell continued to ring while I tried to figure out if the monitor was broken or I just didn't know how to turn it on. I only felt like answering the door depending on who it was. Normally it would be easier to pretend to be out, but that wouldn't help me. I was waiting for my enemies to show up. I just couldn't hide myself in that case. The hag was supposed to be sick and in an extremely bad mood. I'd already sent word that she didn't want to see anyone. So who could it be? I made up my mind to turn the intercom on. If it was someone unwanted, I could just turn whoever it was away. I had to act normal, so I wouldn't arouse suspicion. I had to act normally.
はい、どちら様でしょう。
こんにちはなのです。
Mmm. She didn't tell me her name, but man, I recognize that voice.
リカちゃんか。どうしたの？こんな時間に。
実はお醤油を分けてもらいに来たのですよ。
Right. God, you know what? I'll say this. This game is so good for actually reminding you of stuff. I forgot about the soy sauce debacle. Soy sauce? I almost screamed, but I controlled myself. I took a moment to think about the situation. Hinamizawa was far from most stores, so sometimes neighbors would share seasoning and stuff with each other. The village sometimes got snowed in during winter. But the Furude Shrine was quite far from this house. It was rather odd for her to come all the way here on her bicycle just to get some soy sauce. Maybe she was using it as an excuse, but maybe there was something she wanted to talk to me about. That was when I noticed a piece of paper that was on the refrigerator door next to the intercom. We still have plenty of homemade soy sauce in stock. Feel free to come to the Sonozaki house if you want some. The hag must have given that flyer to everyone. One of our relatives sent her a barrel of soy sauce. God, I wish I had a barrel of soy sauce. I love soy sauce. Soy sauce is so good when you don't got someone in your ear saying, "What, you need to use that to make your food taste good?" Yeah, it's called seasoning, asshole. Come on. You can use it in so many places. It's so good. If you want some, bring a container. That's what the flyer said. I see. Well, that would explain it. There was a handwritten note on the bottom of the flyer. The soy sauce is in the storage area under the floor. Give them as much as they want. There's a storage shed beneath the floor. Storage area. When I opened it, I saw a barrel of soy sauce along with a funnel and a ladle. I didn't want Rika to notice anything suspicious at this point. I decided to share the soy sauce with her.
いいよ。入れるものは持ってきてるの？
お醤油の瓶を持ってきましたのです。
Hope it's not one of those tiny Kikoman bottles. You should have got a big one.
オッケー。勝手に入ってきていいよ。玄関で待ってる。
God, homemade soy sauce must be so good. God, I love soy sauce. As I headed there, I heard the doorbell ring again.
みー、内側から閉まってて門が入れないのですよ。
ああ、そうだった。 ごめんごめん。今開けに行くよ。待ってて。
People didn't pay much attention to safety around here in Hinamizawa. People didn't think too much about locking the doors. But as someone who's lived in a town, I've always locked everything. Oh boy, I wonder if that's going to be a sign of her to be like, I don't think that's Mion. To let Rika Furude in and have to go outside.
こんばんはなのですよ。
こんばんは。
Rika smiled at me. She was holding a huge soy sauce bottle. Well, in comparison to her. For a normal human, it's a regular-sized bottle. She acted like I never yelled at her, got violent with her, or made her cry at all today. Or perhaps she came to curry favor, thinking that she angered me. I invited Rika to the front door. I told her to wait for a moment and tried to take the bottle. But Rika took off her shoes and walked into the house with the bottle in her
いい
hands.
よいいよ。私が入れてくるから待ってなよ。
僕もジョーゴでお醤油入れるのは上手になったのですよ。
Well, don't brag about it or anything. She looked at me as if begging. I guess she wanted to pour the soy sauce in the bottle herself. I didn't want her to come into the house, but I suppose I didn't want her to wait there alone either. She came to the kitchen with me. I could keep my eye on her. And so I brought Rika to the kitchen. We walked down the hallway. I only heard my footsteps. I stopped suddenly and turned around to make sure Rika was following me. Rika bumped into me. Okay, wait, I'm writing that down. What? Rika doesn't have footsteps? Huh? That's curious.
ああ、ごめんごめん。
I made sure she was right behind me and started to walk again. Tap, tap, tap. Tip, tip, tip. Tap, tap. Tip, tip. Rika must have been having fun matching her footsteps to mine. Even when I quickly sped up, our footsteps matched perfectly. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tip, tip. Tip, tip. Tap, tap, tap. I stopped suddenly. Tip, tip, tip. Tip. But she also does the one extra step. Wait, what? Rika stopped suddenly too after taking an extra step. When I turned around, Rika smiled at me. Our footsteps matched perfectly. And when I stopped suddenly, I heard an extra step. I've experienced such footsteps before. It was making me feel uncomfortable. But now, although her footsteps sounded the same as the others I'd experienced, I saw her when I turned around. How was the difference between them? I left the storage door open so we could see the soy sauce barrel. The memo said she could take as much as she wants, but I wasn't sure there was enough left. I crouched down and tried to open the lid of the soy sauce barrel. Even when I crouched down, I could hear Rika's extra step.
うん、まだまだいっぱいあるよ。ほら、好きなだけ持ってくといい。
What expression is she doing?
うん、まだまだいっぱい。うん、
Oh,
うん、まだまだいっぱいあるよ。ほら、
all right.
好きなだけ持ってくといい。
I think we're at...
う
Wait,
ん、
okay.
まだまだいっぱいある
There we
よ。
go.
ほら、
Wrong
好
one.
きなだけ持ってくといい。
It's P. Ah! That's just smug as hell. That's a very funny one. That's, like, this is scary. This is scary. But this is... They're all so different. But... Huh? Who was this? I saw Rika, but... It wasn't Rika at all. It was like when I switched with my sister. The outside was the same, but the inside was different. Did Rika have a twin sister? I was confused for a moment. That was when Rika sprayed something from a small bottle into my eyes. I'm sorry, is she a hitman? Dude, what if this is Agent 47 or whatever? Dude, could you imagine? I felt a terrible pain in my eyes, and suddenly tears poured out and my nose started to run. I couldn't stop sneezing either. As I stumbled around, covering my face, I then realized I was attacked. I shut my eyes tightly for a moment, and then opened them again. Rika was about to grab my hair and to drag me down onto the floor. When Rika saw me open my eyes, she sprayed at me again. I shut my eyes to avoid the spray, but my nose still breathed in the substance. I avoided the pain in my eyes, but the tears, the runny nose, and the sneezing continued. Shit! My brain isn't working quickly enough. However, when I finally understood that I'd been attacked by Rika Furude, my brain started to grind into motion. Rika Furude knocked me on my back and got on top of me. I tried to escape from her by rolling on the kitchen floor. As I rolled, I hit an oven, a huge jar, and destroyed a pile of something on the floor as I fought back. But Rika didn't let go of me. She stayed on top and restrained me. She was sitting on my stomach and I felt intense pain and pressure. She sure could fight well. I still couldn't see anything. Rika had the upper hand. My eyes were shut and I was in real danger. As I tried to blink, I saw Rika's expression. I didn't know Rika Furude all that well. I only knew her from the few times we met from when I went to school as Mion and from the things I've heard from other people. But as far as I knew, there was no way Rika Furude would ever do something like this. This was just impossible. 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 No, I just can't fill my head with that word. I have to calm down and figure out what to do next. Shit, I'm too much of a mess to even think. I tried to peek. I'm sorry. Just imagining her like this. Just imagining her like this, doing this, is kind of frying me. I tried to peek at her face again. She still had the spray bottle in one hand. What I didn't expect was a thing in her other hand. How could I mistake it for anything else? It was definitely a syringe. Oh, we're going back to this. Oh god, it's been a while since we had the mysterious syringe. When Rika realized I'd regained my eyesight, she pointed the spray bottle right at me and let loose with it. I shut my eyes tightly and tried to ignore the pain. But that was when, even though I was blinded, Rika made a miscalculation. She had sprayed at me from such a close distance that she inhaled the substance as well. I heard Rika sneeze and realized that it was my chance. Even if I couldn't see, I knew she was right there. I hit Rika's face a few times. When I felt Rika's weight shift, I escaped. Dude. What does that say? Wait, hold up. What does that say? I'm zooming in on this. Wait, whoa, wait. Okay, so what is that? What does that say? What does that say? I can't read it. I literally can't read it. I think this is a fool's errand. I think that's a fool's errand. Okay, never mind. Frick, I'm gonna have to get this back now. Transform. Fit to screen. No, it's not the right size now. Wait, okay, hold up. No, wait. Oh, wait, no, it's because it's not full screen. Okay, so we go there, and then we go, I think we go right, I think right there. I hope I didn't screw up my whole layout just for that bit. I hope not. You know what? Let's go. Let me just quickly make sure. Because it would be. Let's go center to screen. Okay, and then we just go. Good. God bless OBS. I then got my stun gun ready. Rika must have inhaled just a little of the spray. She wasn't sneezing anymore, but she was glaring at me instead. Rika's expression didn't change, but I was sure she was disappointed that her surprise attack was a failure. Rika flinched just a little, but she was still holding the spray bottle and aiming it at my eyes. She was trying to use the spray first, and then give me the shot. I didn't know what was in that syringe, but it was a clear liquid. It's that Ozempic fentanyl. It had to be something bad. don't know. There's sometimes good things in syringes. You know, there's sometimes good things. Maybe it's a nice cold water. You know, actually, wait, no, I think injecting water is also really, really bad. You know what's crazy? You know, one of the worst things to actually have in your syringes, just air. Yeah, just put air in your blood, and then it kills you. She wanted to take my eyesight, get on top of me, then give me the shot. If whatever was in that syringe took a while to take effect, I might have the chance to fight back and seriously injure Rika. But Rika's surprise attack told me that just being injected was more than enough. In other words, whatever the effect, it would start to work immediately. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to fight back against her. It'd probably either knock me out or kill me. I mean, remember, you were like, oh, we got to go after Shion. We got to go after Shion. You got to go do your job and take out Shion. That's what you were saying to her. And so she probably, because, you know, she's kind of probably Oyashiro-sama, probably like, okay, guess we will. In any case, what I had done was equally deadly. My stun gun was very powerful. First we kill all the elderly, then we stun gun the children. Just one shot would be all it took. What happened before was proof of its power. Rika knew my stun gun was a lot more powerful than her spray. She was being extra cautious.
ほらほら、いつまで人ん家に上がり込んでボサッとしてくれてるわけさ。そっちから来ないんなら、こっちから行くぞ、こら!
I threw a pile of newspapers at her. The pile wasn't tied together, so the newspapers flew all over Rika. I jumped at her immediately after. I shoved my stun gun into her and pulled the trigger. Rika spasmed and fell to the floor. You fool, hesitating in a fight where a single blow wins. Only amateurs would just glare at each other. You don't have a single clue about how advantageous the first strike is when a single blow could decide everything. The spray bottle rolled on the ground, but she still had the syringe. Rika was down, but I couldn't let my guard down either. I kicked her in the side and clambered on top of her. I took the syringe. I held Rika's arm down and gave her a shot. I like to imagine she, like, you know, puts her out there. She grabs her arm and then she's like, you know, smacking the wrist to make sure like a good vein is there. And she's like, oh, come on, you know, it's like you know. It's not working. You don't have a clear vein. And so then they get in the guest nurse. The guest nurse comes in and the guest nurse is like, well, I'm actually an expert at finding these veins. And then she comes in and starts slapping the wrist, right, to make it so that the vein could appear. And then finally they give the shot and it's like, well, sorry, we actually missed. We got to do it again, right? I am speaking from experience. That's me. I have no veins and it's always a pain in the ass. My actions could hardly be called gentle. Yep, that sounds like people who give me shots. I injected her violently. Yep. Yeah, oh yeah, they just stab that into you. I injected everything that was in the syringe. Rika began to convulse. I stood back and watched for what would happen to her body. Of course, I still had my guard up. Well, I assumed the drug would incapacitate her immediately. I didn't know exactly what kind of reaction she would have.
ざまあないね。私に勝てるとか夢にでも思った。なめんじゃねえや!
After a few more convulsions, Rika unsteadily got to her feet. Oh, what? Okay, it's not a kill thing? That's ridiculous. How can she even stand? I looked at my stun gun. Damn it. The power was on the lowest setting. Maybe it had been readjusted while we were rolling around on the floor. I changed the setting to maximum overdrive. You ever see the movie Crank 2? We're about to turn her into Rika-Zilla. Rika turned pale and started sweating all over. I didn't know its exact effects, but if Rika had given me the shot, I'd be the one experiencing her symptoms. She looked really sick, so obviously she must be feeling awful too. She couldn't even focus. She was very wobbly and had her hand on the wall. She'd lost her balance, and it must have been hard for her to even stand. She didn't look so brave anymore. Rika wobbled some more and moaned as if she were about to throw up. Hanyu? Hanyu? That sounds important. but in a way, I bet you I'd get huge spoilers if I Googled it. That doesn't sound cultural. That sounds like big spoilers. I'm not touching it. We're gonna learn. Rika, or people in the comments will just tell me. If it's actually like maybe it's a Kuwabara thing, you know? Rika looked scary as she moaned and wobbled, but at the same time, she looked kind of funny too. Certainly, she hadn't even dreamed she'd be getting the shot herself. As the man sows, so shall he reap. That's what you get.
実に滑稽だね。笑えるよ。でも吐くときは勘弁ね。お手洗いで吐いてちょうだいよ。あんたがあとどのくらいでくたばるのか見物するのも楽しいよ。ああ、でもそれじゃあ拷問する楽しみがなくなるね。私さ、あんたにはあの釘台を使ってやろうとずっと心に決めてたんだよね。あんたが自分の薬でゲロを吐きながらそれで窒息して死ぬのが早いか、両手十指に釘をたらふく食らって痛みで行くのが早いか。
You know, I
ぜひ
don't
見てみたいもんだね。
I don't normally say this, but I think the vomit is the better option here.
よし決めた。じゃあ会場を移そうか。場所を移すためにちょいと眠っててもらうよ。
I walked up to Rika, my stun gun making popping sounds. When Rika saw the sparks from the stun gun, she moved to grab a huge kitchen knife. You know, actually, yeah, the kitchen's probably not the best. Yeah, okay.
おや、まだその程度の元気はあるわけだ。そうでなくちゃ面白くないよ。あんたにはいろいろ聞きたいことがあるしね。無駄に抵抗しない方がいろいろと辛くないよ。もっとも抵抗しなくても辛い目に遭うだろうけど。
残念だけど、あんたの誘いは断るわ。この拷問狂が。
Oh my god, that voice. What the frick? What she said wasn't anything I'd expect to hear from the Rika I knew. But I didn't hesitate. I had the advantage, so I didn't need to worry. Besides, this was coming from the last survivor of the Furude family, one of the 3 families. That sudden change somehow felt natural.
あんたらの御三家の血塗られた歴史に比べたら、私なんてとてもとても。それを古出家当主様に褒めてもらえるなんてね。ちょっと光栄だね。んで、そのフラフラな体で包丁一本で抵抗してみせる。立っているだけでも限界なくせに。
そうね、あんたの言う通り。これがどうも私の限界。
Is Rika like an adult in a child's body? Cause that's that, or is Rika just a adult who like is pretend like, are we Edward Cullening it? Are you actually like because that is an adult's voice, right? And I know the actor's an adult, so it probably doesn't count. But like is that what we're doing? Are you actually just like are you out there coloring and napping and kicking your feet and saying nipa and meep, and you're actually like, 30 years old or something?
お前なんかに飯取られて拷問で殺されるくらいなら悪いけどお先に退場させてもらうわ。
Like, here's the thing, we heard this voice a little bit earlier, but like now that we can really hear like in the last throes of life, obviously, wow, okay, no, that's a different voice.
退場できるならしてごらんよ。
It was clear who held the advantage here, but despite that, an odd thrill filled the both of us. We lost our minds wasn't a fitting phrase for the people of Hinamizawa. It was a feeling of release when modern demons could stop pretending to be human. Yes, this was a mad banquet of demons with the savoring of blood and devouring of flesh, attended by the head of the Furude family and the head of the Sonozaki family, the old families whose blood is closest to the madness of the demons. I stood in front of the hallway so as to block her escape route. The windows had grates and the door had a safety chain on it. If she turned around, I'd hit her with my stun gun. In this situation, what did Rika Furude mean by taking her leave? Oh, is she gonna stab? She's gonna stab herself. She's gonna self-aside. Rika got her knife ready. I expected her to aim at my stomach when she attacked, so I took a stance with my stun gun ready in hand. Rika, however, suddenly turned around. I carefully watched to see what her next move would be. Rika put... Oh yeah, here it comes! Rika put the handle of the knife to the wall and held it in place. She's holding it up, and then she's just gonna like bam her head into it, right? That's what she's doing. What was she doing?
じゃあね。さよなら拷問狂。お前なんかに殺されてたまるか。
Rika reared her head back. Oh, the throat! And slammed her throat against the knife on the wall. That's rough. Her blood splattered all over. Rika bent backwards and repeatedly let the knife slash at her throat. Again and again. Oh, that's a horrible image. Her neck and chest were dyed red. I'd always thought blood was darker, but her blood wasn't dark. It was so bright. I must have been confused, but it looked pretty. After doing this several times, Rika turned around. Her eyes were wide open. She didn't look like she was from this world. Her face looked like something both living and dead, both real and artificial. It was very scary, eerie, and, above all else, pale. Although her face looked unearthly, it was a very appropriate face for a demon. I didn't have a mirror, so I couldn't tell, but I was sure I looked exactly like her. Rika continued to violently slash her throat. It reminded me of someone trying to break a huge piece of ice with an ice pick. That was exactly what Rika looked like. The white chips of ice coolly flying through the air. What I saw before me was a beautiful sight. Every time Rika struck her throat, tiny drops of red blood splattered the boring white world around her. It was like a dance, a dedication dance by the final head of the Furude family, the demon's last dance of dedication to Oyashiro-sama. Upon seeing that literally blood-curdling dance, I let out a fierce roar. I had no reason to do so. I was howling like an animal. We were like animals trying to kill each other, both getting covered in blood, and I inevitably, as one convulsed in the pool of that blood, and the other threw back its head and howled. My body shivered with the joy I felt inside me. This was death, the most final of judgments, and it was right before me. The demons howled, screamed, and roared. The roars faded, and my voice started to change from the voice of a demon back to that of a human. As a demon, I roared, but as a human, I sneered. Rika was covered in blood from the neck down. Her blood was pouring out, making a little noise. Rika was still staring into my eyes. I stared back at her. Eyes, come on. Come on, I'm trying to have a moment, eyes. Stare. No! Whatever. I wasn't sure they were still eyes, though. Come on, eyes. Come on. Whatever. They were no longer human eyes, but the eyes of the dead. Rika. No. Rika's corpse vomited blood from her mouth and nose and smiled. Then she dropped the knife. She stuck her hands out and turned her palms upward. Her wiggling fingers reminded me of an insect's legs. Those fingers reached for her own throat. Really? Wait. Self-throat death. This is how Tomatake died. I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen anybody do this before. Because, yeah, Rika was scratching her own throat. She was ripping her own throat apart. Huh. Maybe that wasn't a good description. She was trying to rip out the inside of her throat through the opening she'd made with the knife. Her fingers found the biggest tear. Rika smiled. At least, that's what I would have called it if she were alive. She ripped out the tear in one tug. Upon hearing my scream, Rika died and fell on her face into the pool of blood. Well, that's in my blood. That was it. She didn't get up again to show me her throat. I stepped backwards from Rika Furude's body and bumped into the wall in the hallway. I roared again in admiration of the ritual dance of dedication of the head of the Furude family. Joy ran through my body and blood rushed through my veins.
勝ったぞ。私は勝った。打ち勝った。
I then realized I disposed of the heads of the 3 families, the core of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Everything was finally exposed. The curse of Oyashiro-sama and its masterminds were all exposed. I disposed of the leaders of the 3 families, who all killed Satoshi-kun. The head of the Sonozaki family died of a heart attack. She was at the bottom of the well along with her wheelchair. I apprehended the head of the Kimiyoshi family. He continued to tiptoe until he died. The head of the Furude family died in a way that was perfect for the final head of the 3 families of Onigafuchi. I did it. I accomplished my mission. I defeated all the masterminds who killed Satoshi-kun with the curse. Everyone. Satoshi-kun, you were powerless. You didn't have the means to fight back. Those evil people simply sneered while they let you die, after marking you as a member of the cursed Hojo family. I will never, ever forgive them. They believe you deserve to die because you were one of the Hojos. As long as it was done by the curse of Oyashiro-sama, they didn't care how you were killed. I will never forgive those people for creating this world. What could I have done to save you, Satoshi-kun? I couldn't save you. Shion Sonozaki couldn't do anything else at the time. If I was Mion, not Shion, if I was Mion that day, I could have saved you. Mion could have saved you. That's right. I remember now, Shion. She said she wanted to eat red snapper sashimi that day. I was supposed to eat that, but Shion pouted and cried. That was why I let her switch, just for that night. I did it to make her happy, like a big sister would. Shion was never treated well, so I felt bad. That was it. I was being a good sister, that was it. When morning came, the world had been turned upside down, and it had remained so until today. We weren't twins anymore. The one with the demon was Mion, and the one without the demon was Shion. What was that supposed to mean? Wait, Mom, listen. I'm Mion, not her. You can tell us apart, right, Mom? Look, can't you tell that I'm Mion? Come on, everyone, tell me I'm Mion. I'm Mion. Don't call me Shion. I'm Mion, I am.
その時、私ははっきり悟ったよ。あんたは知っていたんだ。あの夜、親類たちが集まって何をするのか、ただの宴会じゃないって知っていたんだ。
知らない。本当に知らなかったの。
So, wait, did we just like literally rant our way down here? That's cool. See, one thing that I really like about visual novels is when a character starts to go crazy and time starts to slip. Like, there was no, I made my way down to the storeroom. It's like, no, she was having these crazy thoughts, and now we're down here talking to her.
はあ？なわけないでしょ。あんた、あの日だけ嫌にしつこく絡んできたじゃない。タイの刺身なんて食べたことない。食べてみたい。いつもミオンばかりずるい。私にもって。
Dude, all this for Red Snapper is crazy. I mean, I get it. It's worth 3,000 bells, which is pretty good in the early game, but...
普段ならおとなしく納得するくせに、あの日だけ必要に。
知らないの。本当に知らなかったの。あんな恐ろしいことになるなんて思ってたら絶対に言わなかった。
はっ、どうだか。あんたはいつも妬んでたじゃない。ミオンばかりいい目にあってずるいって。だから私が気を利かせてたまに入れ替わってあげてたんじゃない。あんたはそれに満足していなかった。より一層妬んでいったんだ。そしてあの夜の意味を自分だけ知り、私から奪ったんだ。ミオンを奪ったんだ。ミオンを返せ。私がミオンなんだ。私が園崎ミオン。お前はシオンなんだよ、シオン。ミオンを語るな、偽物が。
Okay, it's the bars of the cell. I thought she was kicking her. I kicked the bars of the cell repeatedly while I roared. Compared to my roar, the metallic noise of the bars sounded like the cry of a little puppy. I've been convinced by something so stupid. The tattoo of the demon was just a way of telling us apart. Even without that tattoo, I am Mion. That's right, I am Mion Sonozaki. I gathered my hair up and put it in a ponytail with the yellow band that Mion used all the time. Since I didn't feel my hair on my neck, I felt like I could think more clearly now. Two Mions looked at each other through the iron bars. According to our sibling rules, that was never to happen. Yes, there was only one Mion and one Shion. There could never be two of either at the same
髪
time.
をほどけしよん。
Wow.
ミオンは私だ。ミオンはここにいる。お前がミオンじゃない。だから語るな、二度と私を語るな。聞いているのかシオン。聞こえているのか。聞こえているなら返事をしろ。私に返事を届かせろ。シオン。
I took myself back on this day. Or I took myself back on this day, I see. Shion admitted she was Shion.
ミオンであることがこんなにも素晴らしいなんてすごいよ。体全体が言うことを聞く。頭の回転が優れた気がする。そうだよ、ミオンは万能なんだ。みそかすのシオンとは違う。落ちこぼれのくせに下手なミオンのふりなんかしやがって。それわかるでしょ、あんたになら。シオン。はい、おね。
Shion called me sis. And so, I was Mion. Ah, the demon who had been asleep deep inside of me was finally allowed to wake up. The demon roared and my whole body shivered to express its joy.
シオン、あんたには罪が。
Oh my god, are you- wait, you're pushing your sin onto her?
あんたは今までミオンだった。
Oh no.
園崎家の鬼を継ぐミオンという強い立場がありながら、サトシ君を救わなかった、救おうとしなかった。サトシ君を救うための100億の瞬間があったはずなのに、あんたはその全てを見殺しにすることを選んだんだ。私は許さない、お前を許さない。お前が私だったらサトシ君を救えていたのに、お前が私を奪いサトシ君を殺したことを私は絶対に許さない。
Shion was shaking on the other side of the bars.
私はお前を殺すだろう。絶対に殺す。お前を一番残酷に殺す方法が何なのか、今日から毎日考えて過ごしてやる。シオンは私がそれを思いつくまでのわずかな日々をいつ殺されるのか、どう殺されるのかに怯えながら過ごすがいい。簡単には殺さない。むごたらしく殺す。殺した後はサトシ君と同じ井戸に放り投げてやる。そしてサトシ君にあの世で謝ってこい。それが私を語り続けてきたことへの報いだ。報い、報い。お前の罪。
I'm so happy she's back for the new Higurashi anime. God, her acting is insane. Oh my god! I needed to at least clean up the kitchen. Like, what a perfect way to show how frickin' gone she is. Like, this sounds like me when I make a nice stew. You know, it's like, well, I gotta clean up the kitchen. While I was putting old newspapers on the floor to absorb the blood, the phone rang. I didn't want to answer, but maybe I should. I should answer it and talk to whoever it was.
はい、園崎です。
いつもお世話になってるでございます。北条と申しますですわ。
I'll know that Desuwa anywhere. I was surprised to hear the Hojo name, but I realized right away that it was Satoko.
あ、さとこ？どうしたの？
夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんわね。うちのリカがお邪魔してませんこと？
Oh, yes. Ever since Satoko Hojo was abandoned, she had been living with Rika Furude. Of course, she gets suspicious that Rika hadn't returned
あ、
yet.
来てるよ。
あら、まだお邪魔してますの？もう夕飯の時間ですのに。
ねえさとこ、実はね、今日さ、ちょいとおかずを作りすぎちゃってね。リカちゃんにも夕食を振る舞ってるんだよ。
そうなんでございますの？
さとこも来なよ。さとこの分もあるからさ。
Oh, this makes the whole, like, because this makes what happens later way scarier.
リカちゃんはもう食べてるよ。
In retrospect, that's scary.
もうリカったら。わかりましたわ。ちょっと片付けをしてから参りますわね。では、ごめんあそばせ。
うん、待ってるからね。じゃ。
Oh, wow, phone CG. That's a random that we're only getting it now. Click. Oh, they made it just for the amazing eye catch. Yeah. Is this going to be end of chapter and then we're going to get a note saying that she didn't come by? Oh no, it's still going.
Keiichi, さっきから呼んでるぞ。電話だ。園崎さんから。
園崎さんってどっち？姉？妹？
そんなのは知らん。自分で出て聞きなさい。
もしもし、ミオンか？シオンか？
What a question.
私です。
Whoa, that's so good.
シオンです。こんばんは。
Just the it's me and then like that it's me sounds like she's like it's me and then she has to remember, right, I have to be Shion.
シオン、ゆうべはすまなかった。つい興奮して。
It seems that my hanging up on him in the middle of his complaining last night had a positive effect.
私たちは運命共同体なんです。互いの無事の確認が自分たちの安全の唯一の保証なんです。
ああ、それについては同感だ。
だから私たちは互いの知っている情報を共有する必要があります。高野さんたちみたいな死に方をしないために。
Gulp. I heard Keiichi swallow loudly.
では、昨日の続きを話します。もう怒らないで聞いてくれますよね。
ああ、大丈夫だ。
Keiichi agreed to be quiet and listen. I explained the dangerous situation Keiichi was in once again. Just like how some evil people in the village attacked Takano-san and Tomitake-san, they might attack us any day. It was ironic, of course, that while I was warning him, I was also the one who made sure the curse would fall upon
互い
him.
に何か気になることがあったら報告し合いましょう。互いの持つ小さな断片を合わせていけば、ひょっとすると高野さんたちを殺した、いえ、過去の連続事件を解決する鍵が見つかるかもしれません。
そうだな。確かにそうだ。
では、まずは言い出した私からいきます。最近、誰かに監視されているような気がします。
I was making this shit up. I just wanted him to realize how urgent the situation was.
と言っても気のせいかもしれません。でも一応報告します。今は気のせいだと思っていますけど、もしもケイちゃんも同じように誰かに監視されているように感じるなら、これは気のせいじゃないのかもしれませんから。
そういうことなら安心しろ。少なくとも俺の方は大丈夫だ。
It seemed like nothing had happened to Keiichi today, at least. Now that the heads of all three families were gone, it's possible the curse system had been destroyed entirely. If that was the case, then Keiichi might not be attacked after all. But if there was someone who did want to attack him, that meant part of the system was still alive. In other words, my mission wouldn't be accomplished just yet. Keiichi's like a litmus test in this situation. I'd know whether or not all my enemies were gone depending on if Keiichi got bitten. He sure is a very useful man. After that, I went along with what Keiichi said. I made sure he was fearful of Mion as well as the three families. I explained to him the possibility that the whole village was involved, and that the curse of Oyashiro-sama might be some sort of system. Then I remembered Shion wouldn't know too much about the disappearance of the mayor, so I continued.
私もついさっき聞いたんですが、君吉のおじいちゃんが行方不明になったって本当ですか？
村長さんのことか。なんだシオン、聞いてないのか？
何も知らないです。お父さんが電話でそう話してるのをまた盗み聞い
Oh,
ただ
what
け
a
ですか
good
ら。
excuse you can just keep popping, huh?
ああ、実はな、ゆうべ会合の後、家に帰ってこないとかでHinamizawa中で大騒ぎになったんだ。村中で探したみたいだけど、まだ見つかったって話は聞かないな。警察も探してるはずなんだけど。
なんでそんな大事な話を先にしてくれなかったんですか？
悪い。もう知ってると思ってたんだよ。隠す気なんかなかった。
ケイちゃん、私どうしよう。
Oh my god, now that we know she's acting, this is crazy.
どうした？話せよ。俺たちの間で隠し事はなしだろ。
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy!
ごめん。隠すつもりはなかったんです。ちょっと言うのが前後したっていうか。
俺たちは仲間だろ。怒ったりしないから正直に話せよ。
私、君吉のおじいちゃんに打ち明けたんです。
君吉のじいさんってのはシオンにとって相談できる心安い人なんだろ。
はい、私のこと小さい頃から本当に可愛がって
This,
くれ
this,
て。
this is true, technically.
私、いつも意地悪なことをしてたのに、いつもニコニコと笑って私の言うことは何でも聞いてくれて、本当に優しい人だったのに。
落ち着けよシオン。別に死んでしまったわけじゃないだろ。そんな簡単に諦めるなよ。
Keiichi tried to make me feel better, but he had no idea what was actually going on. It really made me laugh.
村長さんに私、あの晩最後殿に忍び込んだこと、誰かにそれを見られてて、私たちを狙っている人がいるって。
村長さんは高野さんたちがまともじゃない死に方をしたのを知ってるのか。
はい、知っていました。あの二人がお社様のたたりで死んだから、私はその怒りを鎮める生贄にされるんじゃないかって本当に率直に言いました。
ああ、それで
君吉のおじいちゃん怒らなかった。そしてにっこり笑って、しおんちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら鬼隠しになんかなるものかって。
That is interesting that he did say the same thing as Rika there did.
本当に笑いながら任せなさいって。
I actually got a little sad while saying that. Uncle Kimiyoshi had been so reliable. I was happy when he said that he would protect Shion. I truly was happy. If only he hadn't said anything to insult Satoshi-kun.
私のせいです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。いいえ、
よせよシオン。シオンのせいじゃないよ。
私のせいなんです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。君吉のおじいちゃんが知ってしまったから。だから殺されてしまったに違いないんです。だって打ち明けてすぐなんですよ。打ち明けて大丈夫って言ってくれたその晩に消えてしまった。
It was such a strange feeling. I wasn't upset at all. But as I pretended to be upset and muttered words of prayer for Kimiyoshi's safety, I started to feel that emotion growing inside of me. I was only pretending to be distressed to fool Keiichi, yet the emotion I feigned began welling up inside me. I felt like I was being consumed by that emotion. So the words coming from my mouth weren't words I intentionally said. They were words that consuming emotion forced me to say. It was like someone else inside me was doing the talking instead. The gnome. And it was like, and I was just watching that someone talk from a short distance away.
話すんじゃなかった。これは全部私たち4人のトガだったはず。他人に話してはいけないことだったんです。話したから殺されてしまった。知ったから殺されてしまった。打ち明けたから殺されてしまった。
おい待てよ。そんなやつなら打ち明けた村長を殺す前にお前から先に殺すに決まってる
So
じゃないか。
there's something to say about, like, if she has sort of like, you know, again, bipolar and switched, you know, her sort of into her other disposition here. Like, is that now her sort of original psyche kind of speaking out and saying like, oh God, what have I done? You know, well, this version of her is in control. I shouldn't be saying like I know anything about that sort of stuff as an expert or anything. I don't know how that stuff works at all. But you know, it's something to be thinking about with that sort of idea of like, you know, the multiple personality stuff.
順番が違うよ。殺されるなら俺かシオンが先。他のやつらが先に死んだりするものか。
順番はあります。私たちを一番最後に殺すつもりに違いないんです。
は？なんだって？
人思いに殺さないで、親しい人たちから順々に殺していって、散々悲しい思いをさせた後に殺す。そういう狙いに違いないんです。
What I just said scared even me. Killing our loved ones first to harm us emotionally, and only then kill us at the height of our suffering. Oh, I felt something crawling up my spine. That's awesome. It's an awesome idea. I must not be human anymore. I really am a demon. A human could never think of such cruel things. That would be one incredible hell. Your close friends dying one at a time after being tortured, and after all that, you yourself got killed? What a great idea to destroy someone's life. Why was I getting excited about this? Because I could get going with that plan right away.
リカちゃんリカちゃんだ
え、今なんて言ったんですか？
俺も実は打ち明けたんだリカちゃんに今日。
リカちゃんってリカちゃまのことですか？古出神社のリカちゃま？
そうだよリカちゃんだよ。俺もどうしようもなく不安で打ち明けたんだリカちゃんに。
そうしたらリカちゃまは何
She said she'd take care of it.
猫さんの心配しすぎなのです。僕がきっと
Yeah,
何とかしてあげますって。
and that's when she came here.
リカちゃんはそう言って。ごめんシオン。俺ちょっとリカちゃんのことが心配になっちゃって。
あ、はい。そんなに心配でしたらぜひ電話を安否を確認してみてください。
ああ、そうさせてもらう。
また明日もこのくらいの時間に連絡します。それをもって私の安否確認としてください。
分かった、待ってる。じゃあな、すまん、切るぞ。
Keiichi hung up roughly. What a hilarious conversation with Keiichi. Everything was just too damn funny. Keiichi Maibara, go ahead and struggle helplessly. Run all over the village and see if the curse is still alive. Go ahead and see if my enemies are still around. I laughed for a while and then calmed down. I'd already got rid of the bicycles and shoes belonging to Rika and Satoko. Wait, did Satoko also die? At this point? I thought she was fine. Wait. I thought she was fine, and I thought she didn't go. My house was, for the moment, taken care of. I might have just misremembered. I could expect Keiichi to run around in a panic, to ask for help from someone and then ultimately come to Mion. More than likely, the youth group would end up looking for Rika like they did with the mayor. I'd probably have to endure another long night again, but knowing nobody would find her, I decided to wait until the phone rang. I killed some time by watching TV until it did.
ケイちゃん、本気で言ってんの？もし冗談だったらかなり怒るよ。
I scolded Keiichi for suspecting that Rika had disappeared.
みーちゃん、本当に冗談だったなら怒るんじゃなく笑おうよ。だって冗談なんだから。私たちはそれが冗談であることを確かめなくちゃいけない。
そうだね。機嫌の悪そうなことを言ってごめん。
Rena rebuked me. While she looked quiet, I felt that she could be very terrifying under her skin. I had no basis for that impression, but I still felt that way. I just didn't like her. I disliked her ever since that rainy day at the bus stop. It wasn't that we didn't get along, though. It wasn't that we, yeah. How should I put it? I was at a loss for how to explain. Ah, that was it. I found a good example. When I was little, I always wanted to play tennis. I had my relatives take me to a tennis court, and they all praised my skill. I was doing nothing more than hitting a ball with a racket, but they told me I was talented, and that made me happy. When I went to school, I told my classmates I played tennis, and they told me I was talented too. Then, one of my classmates, who was unusually very quiet, or was usually rather, said she also played tennis. Not only did she play, but she took lessons. Although I'd bragged about my serve, I was no match for her. I felt lonely and insulted that everyone was paying attention to her and not me. She was usually very quiet, but suddenly I realized that she knew more and had a lot more experience than me. Rena at the bus stop was like that. I thought of myself as a demon now. I'd awakened a part of me that was half human and half demon, the part that lived in Onigufuchi village. In fact, I've already stepped into a world where normal humans couldn't go. I'd already surpassed my human limits. I genuinely thought of myself as a superior being having transcended the realm of mortals. But when my eyes met with Rena Ryugu's, I felt what I did long ago. With tennis. Why? Why did I feel that way with Rena? I'd heard that in the animal world, during battle, animals glare at each other to display their strength. Only humans have to punch or kick each other to feel superiority or inferiority. Most animals can tell just by glaring at each other. In that case, would it be the same with Rena?
みーちゃん大丈夫？
ああ、ごめん。ほらさ、昨日から寝不足で。ごめん。
Keiichi climbed up a ladder and tried to peek into the window on the second floor where Rika and Satoko lived. It was my job to hold down the ladder. Rena cautioned me to hold on to it tightly.
みーちゃん、私念のため本宅の方も見てくるね。すぐ戻るから。
ごめん。よろしく。
Rena ran off after that. When I looked up, I saw Keiichi trying to open a window, but all of them were
本
locked.
宅ってなんだ？
Keiichi asked me from the top of the
フ
ladder.
ルデ家の本当の家だよ。両親が亡くなって以来、ずっと放置してあるそうだけど、
あ、そうか。リカちゃんのご両親って亡くなってるんだよな。
サトコも親はいないよ。
Alright, don't we have a freaky moment against him here?
お社様のたたりってことで、両親が崖から落っこちてね。お兄さんだったサトシ君もいなくなっちゃって。
サトシって前に聞いた名前だな。
Oh, is it because he brings him up? He'd heard the name before. I felt anger growing inside of me. Don't you know whose desk you're using every day? You act as if it belongs to you. You drop food on it while eating lunch. You drool on it while taking a nap. Don't you know who it really belongs to? Why am I acting this way? I'm Mion. Satoshi-kun doesn't even exist anymore. He was demoned it away. It was hardly Keiichi's fault that he didn't know. It really isn't his fault.
サトコはリカちゃんと一緒にこの小屋で暮らしてるんだよ。互いに身寄りのない一人ぼっち同士。助け合ってね。
本宅って言ったか？そっちで暮らした方が楽だろうに。
初めはそうしてたみたい。でも、両親を思い出すから辛いって言って。
After everyone in Satoko's family died, she started living with Rika. It only made sense. Satoko and Rika were best friends. They didn't care about the Hojo family or the Furude family. They'd been best friends since before the damn conflict. The reason why the curse never fell upon Satoko, Rika Furude probably had a lot to do with it. That made more sense than anything else, at least. Satoko was pardoned from the curse of the Hojo family. All thanks to Rika Furude's arrangements. Satoko had never been a victim on the night of Watanagashi. According to the curse system I'd uncovered, the last survivor of the Hojo family still living in Hinamizawa would be the perfect target for this year's curse. Therefore, whoever was responsible for executing the curse must have tried to take her life. However, nothing happened to her, proving that Satoko had escaped from the curse. That was really and truly infuriating. She might have been the head of the Furude family, but I still couldn't accept that such a little girl had enough power to protect her best friend. Shion. Shion must have had the same power then. Just like Rika protected Satoko, Shion could have protected Satoshi. Damn it. Damn it.
リカちゃんもサトコも大変なんだな。
呪われてるんだよ。
ミオン、
Here was the
お前
moment,
今
yep.
なんて言った？
呪われてるって言ったの。
ミオン、お前なんて顔してんだよ。
北条サ子はね、お社様のたたりを一身に受けた呪われた子なの。
I can't accept that Satoko was pardoned from the curse, although she was a member of the cursed Hojo family. She was one of the cursed Hojos. Satoshi-kun wasn't pardoned, but Satoko was. She was cursed, but she got away. She escaped that curse, but Satoshi-kun didn't. I can't accept that. In fact, Satoko should have been the one cursed the most. She cornered Satoshi-kun physically and emotionally. That was why things got weirder and weirder, and in the end everything went crazy. When I think back on it, it was Satoko who I hated the most of all. She cornered Satoshi-kun. And as a result, Satoshi-kun disappeared. She started it. She caused it. If only she hadn't been there. What's with the stars? Just as Rika Furude and Satoko had lived happily, maybe there had been a happy future for me too. Maybe Satoshi-kun and I could have started our lives together in Okonomiya. Yes, if I look at it, both the beginning and the end, it's so obvious. Satoko's existence caused everything. Satoshi-kun had to kill his aunt because of Satoko. The three families used that need to create the curse, and then they killed him. The police were convinced he just ran away, but he'd never do that. He was the type of person who always did his best at everything, all by himself. He was doing the very best he could for his only sister, and yet he was forced to vanish. He worked so hard for Satoko. And although he was living just for her, he was erased. Poor Satoshi-kun, he was so underappreciated. That girl knew no gratitude. She was cursed. If you got near her, you'd meet the same fate. You'd be cursed to die or disappear. That really was it. She was the main cause behind it all. She wormed her way into Rika Furude's good graces, and that was why the curse fell upon Satoshi-kun. She should have died first. Then Satoshi-kun would still be alive. If he was alive, I could have done something for him. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive Satoko. I can't forgive that girl. There could be no peace with her. There could be no peace. She was the perfect target for the curse of 1983. The curse of Oyashiro-sama. Rika Furude. The reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Rika was dead. The reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama had died. There was no god in Hinamizawa to deliver the curse. I'm the one who has to deliver it now. I am Mion Sonozaki, the head of the Sonozaki family, one of the three families of Onigafuchi. Now that all the heads of the three families are gone, there is nobody to surpass me. I will deliver the curse of Oyashiro-sama, and nobody else. I'll deliver it. I am the curse. I have to become Oyashiro-sama. I felt hot bubbles boiling over deep inside of me. I could tell that the demon inside of me wanted to roar. I noticed Keiichi was looking down at me. Calm down, Mion. He can't tell what you're thinking. Calm down. Calm down. At that point, I heard footsteps coming closer. I saw 4 or 5 adults, accompanied by Rena, running towards us with flashlights in their hands. One of them opened the lock on the cabin door, and we all went inside. Of course, there was nobody there. Satoko and Rika lived alone. I doubted Satoko would leave a note saying she was going over to the Sonozaki house when Rika was already there. But wouldn't it be fun if she had? Because of that, I hurried into the room ahead of Rena to make sure there was nothing left behind. The rumor of Rika and Satoko's disappearance spread around the village quickly. More and more villagers gathered at the Furude shrine. Acting in place of the head of the Sonozaki family, I commanded them to search the village. The villagers nodded and scattered. How long it had been since the last time I was truly Mion. I felt so pleased that my body almost went numb. Lots of villagers went in and out of the shrine. They yelled at each other that she was nowhere to be found. Some suggested other places to look, and they all left. They made a lot of noise with their comings and goings. Members of the Women's Association brought out huge pots and gas cookers from the storage and got ready to cook for the men. That was when I noticed Keiichi unsteadily walking towards a copse of dark pine trees. We looked at that word before. That's a fake-ass word. I mean, it's real, but it's like nobody uses it. What was he thinking? How stupid of him to be alone on a night like this. If a person responsible for executing the curse was nearby, well, he wouldn't come back safely.
ミオンちゃん、お茶が池の方もぐるっと探したけど全然ダメだね。
Is that the first time hearing about this lake?
池の中も照らしたけど明るくなんないとわかんないよ。
ありがとうございます。婦人部の皆さんがお味噌汁を作ってくれてますので、召し上がって休んでください。
ミオンちゃん、 あの二人って自転車をどこに止めてたんか知ってるか？
さあ、多分境内の階段の下じゃないかな。まさかあの階段を担いで上がったりはしないでしょ。
ないんだよね。二人どこかに行っちゃったんだろうかね。
自転車で遊びに行ったなら遠かもしれんな。町か。
だとするとHinamizawaの中にはいないんかもしれんな。
そういえばリカちゃまがいなくなったってのは誰が最初に気づいたんだ？
ああ、ケイちゃんだけど、急に虫が知らせたんだとか。
前原屋敷のせがれさんか。
Oh.
なんや、怪し
Oh
いな。
god, we are literally, yeah, it's still going. Like the pushing suspicion.
そういえば前原家は来てないのか、この一大事の時に。
前原家は町会未加入だから青年団の連絡網に入ってないんよ。
Yeah, how dare they just move to a small town to enjoy the small town life of being away from people.
なあ、すったらんしょうがな。
俺、入ったろ、町会。あれさね、連絡網に名前が載ってないだけんと違う。連絡網新年に作ったきりやんね。途中から越してきたから載ってない。
前原のせがれさんの虫の知らせってのがどうもな。
第一発見者が一等怪しい言うやんね。そのせがれはどこ行ったんかいね。
さっき松林の方にふらふら行くのを見たよ。誰か呼んでくる？
Conveniently, I saw Keiichi and Rena walking back towards
ケイ
us.
ちゃん、どこ行ってたんだよ。ケイちゃんまでいなくなったのかと心配したよ。
すまん。
It looked like nothing had happened to Keiichi. If so, that's fine. That means I took care of all my enemies.
おやおやおや、おいしい匂いが漂ってくると思ったら。
Do you say that because it's a pun on your name, that it sounds like your name?
これはぜひご評判に預かりたいですね。
I heard the loud, sticky voice of a middle-aged man. It was Oishi. He must have been confused about this year's incident. The scale of the curse this time is nothing like the previous ones. Oishi's information network is about equal to or better than that of the elders on the town council. In other words, he could easily uncover a rumor that was circulating through the underside of the village. He must have come here to see if the disappearances of Kimiyoshi and Rika had something to do with changing the lock of the ritual storehouse's door. The police will come for me sooner or later. I am Mion Sonozaki. By removing all of the heads of the three families, my enemies, I have become the head in their place. I can't allow Mion Sonozaki to continue existing. I'll have to destroy the existence of the head of the Sonozaki family. When I destroy my own position, that is when my revenge will come to an end. More than likely, I'll have Oishi witness my final moments. My eyes and Oishi's met. Damn it. He thinks I'm suspicious already. You're right, Oishi. I did it. Mion Sonozaki, the head of the Sonozaki family, is the culprit. This is insane. Doing this all from the perspective of the killer. This is insane. This is so cool. I am loving this. It's so unique. You can't see it right now. It says the path to hell, continue down the road to darkness, and it's a ladder. This is so unique. I actually am. I do love this chapter, but I also understand why people say this is so hard to read. Again, when you know what's coming, you know. Rika Furude. She was the head of the Furude family, but she never even appeared at most important meetings. Even if she did show up, nobody would ask her opinion, so it never really mattered if she was there or not. A legend in the Furude family says that if their firstborn child is a girl for 8 generations in a row, that 8th girl will be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. According to Takano-san's research, Rika Furude is very likely to be the one. Surely she must have been an important icon in the cult of Oyashiro-sama. The true believers are devoted to her. So it's quite surprising to me that Rika Furude herself was the assassin. It's unbelievable. It's just too abnormal. Usually a VIP like her wouldn't be the one to assassinate someone. It's possible that it was a Rika Furude lookalike. From the way she moved, she seemed experienced in fighting. She also sounded like a 20-year-old woman. It's not normal that a small girl like her would jump me without faltering. I just got lucky because I had a stun gun. Without it, I don't know what would have happened. She was far more skilled than she looked. Was she trained as an assassin? Or was it a body double? Everything's a mystery, including that creepy syringe. What's going on? Can't understand. She was like an apparition or something. Did Oryu Sonozaki know of her existence? What is hiding on the underside of this village? That underside might run much deeper than I thought. Okay, and the next page. At this point, I believe I can complete my revenge by destroying the curse system entirely. That means I have to eliminate the heads of all three families, the successor Shion, and the assassins who are after Keiichi. Although Keiichi's completely unguarded, he hasn't been attacked so far, even though I told everybody that he was one of the trespassers. In fact, it's me who's being attacked. Rika Furude attacked me. According to my theory, Keiichi should make for very attractive bait. But nobody has done anything to harm him. Since Rika Furude attacked me, it might be the opposite. It might be that opposing the Furude family is a greater taboo than trespassing in the ritual storehouse. Rika Furude had said that intrusion wasn't a big deal. She sounded like she was going to let Keiichi walk. And after I accused her of that, Rika Furude, if that is your real name, attacked me that very night. Are there two different factions? Does one handle trespassers in this ritual storehouse while the other protects the religious doctrines of the Furude family? No, that doesn't make sense. Tomotaki-san's death must have been caused by the Furude family's injections. Rika showed me the effect of it herself, clawing out her own throat and dying like that. Yep. But Tomotaki shouldn't have been subject to the curse, at least according to the system of the Furude family. I don't understand why Keiichi hasn't been attacked. Did he have something exempting him from the curse, unlike Takano-san? Just like how Satoko Hojo was spared. Keiichi is a friend of Rika Furude's. Does that mean if you're close to her, you wouldn't be cursed? Was she more important than the whole system? Well, that's impossible. The hag was at the top of the curse system. Rika couldn't have been higher up than her. Scribble, scribble. Are there multiple ways to determine the subject of the curse? Are there as many curse execution groups as there are subjects, and they do all their work separate? Do they all work separately? Oh, it's a mess. None of my theories add up. If I mess up my reasoning, I might make the wrong person the target of my revenge. I don't understand who the enemy is, or how Satoshi-kun was made to disappear. How much did the hag know? That really was a huge loss. I have so many things I want to ask her. I killed her by accident. Shit. Well, in that respect, I've already failed in my revenge. The underside of Hinamizawa really does run too deep. Scribble, scribble. The whole page is blacked out with scribbles. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Sounds like she's getting a little crazy. Well, we're continuing on. Chapter 13. Now, I don't know how many chapters there are. Is it the end? Or are we going on after that? I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Well, thank you guys for watching some more. This is wow. Yeah, not much else to say other than, well, let's see this through to the end, I guess. Thank you all for watching, guys. We'll see you then. Ciao. Yo.